We cannot depend on the system to take care of us after a natural disaster. And I want you to realize, just because you don't live on the coast doesn't mean this is not going to happen to you. It can, and it will. Wildfires, tornadoes, floods, droughts, you name it, bad blizzards. All this is coming.
Extreme winds whipping up flames in Southern California overnight, sparking a new blaze, the auto fire in Ventura County, burning through brush and forcing evacuation orders. First responders racing to contain it. As across the region, they mount an all-out attack to control the much larger fires that have devastated entire sections of Los Angeles, with those Santa Ana winds ramping back up overnight and due to peak today. 13 million people under red flag warnings. The National Weather Service calling the conditions about as bad as it gets. As investigators search the area looking for a cause, multiple law enforcement sources tell NBC News that an early focus is a possible human cause of the fire, though no conclusions have been reached.
What's up, y'all? Let's get straight into it. Well, I'm glad to see everybody back at the Black P.O.E podcast. There's a lot going on, right? I took a little time off at the beginning of the year to get some affairs in order, get some great things lined up for this year. And I'm very happy with the progress that I'm making. At the same token, when it comes to the Black P.O.E podcast, we have some real work to do. Everything we've been talking about over here, all these predictions, they are coming true. The last society. Don't you see it? And of course, the Black P.O.E. So at this point, I don't want my people going crazy and losing their minds. All these things must take place. All these things must come to pass. It shall rain on the just and the unjust alike. We're at that period of time where they talk about good would be considered evil, and evil will be considered good. Don't you see it? Don't you feel it in the air? In certain places in this country, the air is literally on fire. What's going on in LA, y'all? California, period. Now, I know this is the dry season, the burning season, and these things take place in California. But what's been surprising about these wildfires, I'm not hearing a lot about how they started or why can't they put them out, and why do they keep popping up everywhere. I don't want to lean towards intentional. I'm going to look at it as a natural disaster. And we look at it as a natural disaster. We've been telling our Black P.O.Es over here to get prepared. No one is safe. Don't you remember us discussing that? Get ready. I told California get ready, didn't I? Before these wildfires, I told you get ready in Texas. Across the country, we got record snowfall across the country. Unheard of. You know what they say in those last days, it's going to be very hard to distinguish one season from another. Doesn't that sound familiar now? If we even look at Matthew 24, that I like to discuss over here, the prophecy has been fulfilled every single day. But the thing is, are you prepared? For me, and all the prophetic works I've been doing over here, it gets a little frustrating sometimes, right? We've written book after book after book telling you these things are coming to pass. The Black P.O.E is a great read, but it's a dire warning at the same damn time. I told y'all to get good skates up under your feet. In other words, have reliable transportation. Because no matter where you at, shit can hit the fan at any moment. And you need to be prepared to get yourself and your family the hell out of harm's way. This is only the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. There are going to be natural disasters not only in California, but other states in the West, states in the Midwest, states in the South, states in the North, states in the East. Get your popcorn ready, because the show is about to start. And may God help us all. Now, before I get out of here, we have to discuss the spook who sat by the door. Have y'all read chapter 1 yet? About Mr. Dan Freeman, due to affirmative action that was put in place during the period of this book. Our main character became a CIA agent. And during his time as a CIA agent, he learned all these techniques, all this information that he wanted to take back to his home of Chicago, have an uprising and overthrow the government and leading the gangs. Now, of course, this is fiction because none of that took place, right? We see how Chicago is screwed up. But I always wonder, right? Why is Chicago always the epicenter of all these things? All this chaos. Hey, I'm rocking with Naeem Edwards on this one. You can't tell me that the city of Chicago is not one big experiment. Everybody talks about it. It's always coming up. How hopeless it is. It was made to be hopeless. At least for one community, right? But already with this book, this is my main, I ain't gonna say pet peeve, but the main thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way. You kind of know how this is going to end. Or I have a feeling how it's going to end. You have a black man who infiltrated the CIA and had this idea he was going to go back to Chicago and train the gangs in psyops, basically, and overthrow the government. You know what's going to happen to his ass, right? It's just a matter of time. So I'm getting into the book, but it's already just a little discouraging almost. But at the same token, this is a work of fiction. So I'm going to hold out hope for Dan Freeman. Now you see that foreshadowing in there as well, right? With his name, period. Freeman. You think about that. But this is a heavy book, and I hope y'all to read it with me. I've had a couple of people like, man, give me time. I want to read a book with y'all. Okay, well, here it is. We've only gone over the introduction. Tell me what y'all think about the introduction if you already grabbed that book. And I hope some of y'all have. I'm a man of my word. I'm not going to cover the book every single episode, but just know this is a glorified book club over here, and we are covering this great work. And I hope it really sheds light on some of the things that's going on in our community, right? Because it's always a different meaning that the title that's put in your face. That's just what we do as authors. So I'm really liking the book so far. I really am. But like I said, it's just a little concerning because I'm wondering what the hell's going to happen to Brother Freeman at the end of this book. I really am. But thank y'all for tuning in. God bless. One team.